everyone. Welcome back to the podcast. Today we're going to cover the phases of a launch. Now, the reason this is such an important topic is because I truly feel like if more people knew about the specific significant phases of a launch, we wouldn't have to worry so much about hitting the results, making sure the right people see our content, warming up our audience, making sure our audience is warm by the time cart open is here. I hear so many students and peers, and I see lots of different content in my feed about people who have not created launches they're happy with, have not gotten close to their launch results and goals. And when I go in and have conversations with these people, whether it's my peers or my students, I feel like the biggest glaring thing that they're overlooking is the clear launch phases. Now, of course, there are other things that play into this, such as your energetics, your vision, having a really good offer, loving your offer, really stepping into the identity of the leader that is the best person to teach the offer. Absolutely, these are all part of it, right? Beliefs, knowing how to create content. But today I really want to focus on the launch phases, and I'm really excited to share how inside my new course, Rogue Launch, I am breaking down everything you need to know, not just to create one really great launch, but to create great launches over and over and over and build out a product suite and ecosystem within your business to really support your overall growth, stack that monthly recurring revenue, and really work with clients that are long-term soulmate clients that really make a difference, that you make a difference in their lives and they make a difference in your lives. Okay. That is really the goal here. All right. So let's get into it. Let's break down the launch phases and why each phase is so important, so crucial to the overall result of your launch. It's almost like if you don't follow these launch phases and you look back, it's like it's not even an accurate data representation of if your offer is good or not, or if your coaching is good or not. Like, we make all of these stories up in our brain that, oh, people aren't buying, it means no one likes me, or no, people didn't buy this offer, this launch flop, so it means I just must not be a good coach. The worst thing that can possibly happen is you taking a magical, amazing coach like yourself and having launches that don't go according to plan because you haven't actually followed or learned to learn the new launch phases, or not new, but learning the launch phases in order to create the results that you desire from your launches, right? Sometimes it really is just about knowing these phases, knowing how to follow them, create them, make them your own. And it has nothing to do with you being a good coach. All right. So let's get into it. So before we even do anything, this is the important pre-work that goes into a launch that is often overlooked. Actually, the first couple phases are often overlooked, and a lot of people jump smack dab into cart open, and this is what creates what we call in the industry product shock. When you've never heard of a product, you haven't been warmed up to it, there hasn't been any teasing, there hasn't been any foreplay, and you just literally drop it one day and then everyone's like, wait, what is this? I've literally never heard of it. What is this offer? And then people do that and it's open for a week, but they haven't teased it. They haven't warmed up their audience. They haven't created any breadcrumbing content. And then all of a sudden they drop this new offer. It's open for 5 days and people aren't buying because it is just such a shock. It isn't that your offer is bad. It isn't that people don't want to buy it. People do want to buy it, but there are phases we need to go through and honor in order to create a very smooth, a very warmed up audience so that you can set yourself up for success. Part of this is number one, which is the pre-work. Now, this is the work that goes into a launch before you even start the launch. So you're not starting the launch and doing the pre-work at the same time. Now, there might be some non-priority, timeline things that maybe you're still kind of working on in the back end. Like, for example, maybe the sales page that you're finishing up, or maybe you're still batching some content, right? But for the most part, this pre-work, especially the things that are going to be going out sooner rather than later, should absolutely be done ahead of time. Now, here's another way I see a lot of people fail with the launch phases is they underestimate the pre-work. And then once they get into the launching phases, they realize that they needed much more time with the pre-work, but it's too late. Cart is opening tomorrow. There are still 10 different things that need to be done. And now you're scrambling and you're not able to accurately go through the phases because now you're so focused on the pre-work. Now, remember, in the coaching industry, when you're launching, this is such a specific industry where you are going to be doing some of the work in the back end, even if you do have a team. Right? There's still going to be some work that needs to be done, even if it is just around belief work, right? Which is part of this. But you really want to make sure that you have enough time, space, energy to be showing up in the front end of your business, teasing your offer, showing up, talking on stories, creating content, and also being able to get work done in the back end for work that might not be released for another couple of weeks, right? You are a personal coach, so it's not like someone else can show up on stories for you. You have to really get good at, and this comes after a couple of launches, so don't feel like you need to figure this all out right away. It took me quite a long time as well. But each time really knowing, okay, this is how much time something takes. This is a little shorter, so I can actually maybe do this towards the end. I have to get this done first because I know it takes me a really long time to do X thing, right? Or, I know I'm the kind of person who's really picky about their graphics, so either I spend time doing this before the launch even starts, or I have a graphic designer do it for me and save enough space to do some revisions back and forth before I have my final launch graphic, right? So these are all things you want to take into account. Pre-work typically is, whatever type of content that you might want to create beforehand, which is not mandatory, of course. Everyone's going to be a little bit different. I like having a little bit of content batched and then some content topics and ideas so that during launch, I can kind of, on a whim, create something, whatever's feeling alive and hot and ready for me. And then you also want to have your plan during this pre-work phase, right? You want to know, okay, what are the deadlines? What are the dates, right? If you are doing cart open on this week, that means the wait list needs to be open a week before. And that also means that your launch event needs to be planned and promoted so that people have enough time to sign up, look forward to it. And then typically the launch event is open on the same day as cart open, right? You want to have the masterclass, a huge amazing event, and then be able to lead all these warm, juicy, excited clients straight into your offer. And the waitlist or early bird period is really important because this is where you announce the course, but it's not quite cart open yet. You're just building out the waitlist or you're building out the early bird. And when this is done correctly, you can have a 4-figure early bird before the cart is even open because you've been selling in the back end to your waitlist. These are your hottest, warmest clients who are like on the verge of working with you. You also want to decide a masterclass training. So whatever launch event you're doing, I love doing live masterclasses, but you can do Telegram group. You can do an Instagram live series. There's so many things you can do, challenges, emails, things like that, right? So you want to make sure that content is either created or figured out so that you're not scrambling to do that last minute and promote it at the same time. Okay. And then you also want to make sure that your waitlist content, like what is the content that goes out to the waitlist? Do you give them a special training, right? That's something I'm doing with my waitlist. So by the way, you can join the waitlist. It is in the show notes for Rogue launch. There's actually only a couple more days left to join the waitlist. And you get over $300 off the course. You also get access to my brand new training, Hot, Ready, and Resourced, which is going to teach you to warm up your audience. All right. Now, another thing you might want to have ready during the pre-work is the course curriculum. If this is a course that you have not taught already, or maybe you want to update the curriculum, just make sure you have enough time to create that, right? If you're teaching this live, then just make sure you have your slides ready or your notes ready. So depending on what the curriculum, the container is going to look like, you just want to make sure that this is planned out ahead of time. Now, also what I like to include inside the pre-work is the belief work. We get so busy creating all the plans and schedules and content that we forget a really big part of this, a really big piece is the identity, the energetics, the leadership work that goes into a launch. You can't just go into a launch following all the rules, but then, in the back end that's creeping through every time you create content, you're telling yourself, is no one going to buy this? Do people actually want this? Is this price too high? I don't think anyone's going to buy at that price point. I don't think people are going to like this offer. Who am I to even do this? Oh my gosh, right? And you're freaking yourself out. It doesn't matter if you have the most amazing content that is written by the angels. Your energetics, your beliefs are going to seep into every single thing you create. So the belief work is a really big piece of this, not just beliefs about yourself, but beliefs about the offer, beliefs about your clients, and also beliefs about the pricing, because pricing is something that comes up a lot of the time when you are in launch, okay? Especially when people aren't buying. It's like easy to default and blame the offer and blame the pricing. So you want to get really clear on those beliefs and continue to hold that energy throughout the launch. Now, the next part is getting into the launch event. And then now after the launch event, you're going into cart open. So cart open, you have a specific type of content, which is educating. It's speaking to different buyers. You're already having warmed up your audience. So now your people are warm and you're ready to just funnel them straight into your container, straight into your course. This is a really great space to talk about some of those, I call them like micro thoughts that your audience might have. Like imagine they're on your sales page, they're ready to buy, they're so excited, they're a yes, but they have this tiny thought that they're thinking in the back of their head, like, wait, but is this going to work for me? Or I have this really specific thing. Could this help with me? Or am I too uniquely fucked up, right? Like we have all of these thoughts. Like even when you go and purchase something, sometimes you need to see things a couple of times and typically you self-coach yourself through it, right? It's not always like you're able to book a sales call with someone and talk through it, especially if it's a product or, a higher ticket service. You are going to have to coach yourself through it. But this is a really great opportunity for us as coaches to speak to these little micro thoughts that are coming up so that we can lead all of our clients that are feeling aligned to the course into the course before cart close. And now that is the other phase, second to last phase. And the last phase, a lot of people miss, which creates the same mistakes cycling over and over and over and over and over between all of their launches, is missing the evaluation and debrief phase, where after you've processed the emotions of the launch, it's been maybe a week or so, you are giving yourself time to really sit down and ask what went well during this launch, what didn't go so well, what did I learn, what do I want to do differently moving forward. You want to be able to give yourself time to evaluate your launches so that you're not repeating the same lessons and mistakes over and over and over, right? We spiritual, heart-centered people who believe in karma, who believe that we've been reincarnated, who have karmic relationships, we know that if we do not integrate a lesson, it's just going to show up over and over and over. Same thing in relationships. If you have not broken a pattern, you're going to keep dating the same person in different people over and over and over. And we do not want that with our launches. So if you're someone who has had multiple different launches and you've gotten the same results over and over and over again, and you're like, why does this keep happening? What am I doing? You might not be properly evaluating your launches, or you're not having a coach go through and audit your launches and really help you create a customized plan and evaluate why your launches haven't worked for you in the past, which is something that we do inside my mastermind. And this is something that's really important as you continue to launch, right? Launching is not just a one and done thing. Throughout the course of the history of our business, we're going to keep launching the same offers, and we're also going to introduce and launch new offers. So knowing how to launch is a skill set that's just as important as learning how to sell. Now, I really want to cover exactly how Rogue Launch, my new Choose Your Own Adventure launching course, is going to cover not just these launching phases so that you know exactly what you should be doing, the intentions and goals at every single phase of the launch, but also what content to create, how to speak to your audience, how to show up, what behind the scenes work needs to be done. So I'm quickly going to break down the different modules that I'm going to be covering and teaching live starting October 2nd for my new course, Rogue Launch. So the very first module is us covering the launch energetics. You're going to learn your launching archetype. You're going to connect with your identity as a leader and really fuel your magnetism, really understand why you're the best leader to teach this offer. You're going to connect with the spirit of your offer and the spirit of your business and really set a foundational understanding of your energy, the energy of the offer, and really making sure that this is an adventure that you create on your own. Before we get into anything else, building a successful foundation with the energetics is going to help you lead into powerful strategy, right? Energetics inform the strategy. Now, module number 2, we're covering everything you need to know, all the ins and outs of your offer foundations. So you're going to understand exactly what your offer is, no more second guessing, right? Exactly what the transformation is, who it's for, how to talk about it in your content, understanding your client's journey so that you get your people to move. They don't have to sit there and guess, wait, what is this? Who is this for? Is this for me? I'm not quite sure, right? You are going to get crystal clear on exactly what your offer is. And if you're going through this course live with us starting October 2nd, you are also going to get to see how other people approach their content and their launch plans. And I'm really excited to see the variations of launch processes and plans for all of our different offers. So you're going to get really, really, really intimate with your offer, the essence of the offer, the energetic container that you're holding for your clients. You're going to know what the clear transformations are. You're going to know what your entire product suite is going to look like. So this is going to be including a product suite training as well. I'm not just teaching you how to have one great launch or how to launch one time. I'm teaching you to create a thriving, ever-evolving ecosystem inside your business so that when you launch, you aren't just haphazardly launching or throwing spaghetti at the wall hoping it sticks. You are launching based on your offer, your product suite, your low, mid, and high ticket services, and really understanding the alignment to that and your brand and business. This will help you decide name, length, pricing, who it's for, why you're launching, and how it fits within your business ecosystem. You're deeply going to understand the offer positioning within your movement as well as your client's journey. So for example, if you are a spiritual coach, right, your low ticket offer might be speaking to someone who's in the more beginning stages of their journey, and your mid and high ticket offers might be someone who's a little bit more seasoned, who's gone through a couple spiritual awakenings, really understands what it means to be learning spirituality from you. Just as an example. Now, modules 3 and 4 are going to cover the launch phases that I just covered in the beginning of this episode. So we're going to be covering in the first module, module 3, everything from the pre-work before the launch even starts, all the way up until early bird or wait list opens. So that means pre-work, tease, breaking down the hype phases, breaking down how to start and how to nurture a wait list after you've announced your course, how to announce your course, and the belief work that goes into this. Now in module 4, it's going to be launch phase number 2, part 2. And in this phase, we are covering, or in this module, we are covering everything from the waitlist being open to the launch event, cart being open, all the way to cart close, and evaluating the launch afterwards. All right. Now, module 5 is going to be all around the content. So modules 3 and 4, it's going to cover every single phase of the launch, but module 5 is the content you want to create for each phase of the launch. So I really want to keep modules 3 and 4 to deeply helping you understand what to do at each phase, how this phase leads into the next phase, what you want your audience to understand. And then in module 5, now that you know all the phases, we get to create aligned, customized content for every single phase of the launch. So your breadcrumbing teasing content before you've announced your course is going to look very different than your content that is more education focused once your cart is opened, right? And so we want to make sure that we're creating content that teases and warms up and then hypes and then educates and then gets people in through the door in a very sequential way. So it's not just messy and all over the place. You have clear foundations and then you get to create whatever content you would like to create. Now, module 6 is the last module. This is going to be taught through 6 live modules starting October 2nd on Zoom. We're also going to have a private Telegram community chat so we can support one another in our launches and share our wins and support each other through peer coaching. So module 6 is the last module, and this is all about stacking monthly recurring revenue, really understanding your launching schedule, types of launches, how this all fits within your business, and also understanding what types of offers and launches you want to create moving forward. Now, again, I don't just want this to be a course where you learn how to launch. I want this to be a course where you really learn how launching fits within the system of your business. So how you launch a high ticket mastermind versus a smaller mini course or masterclass, right? And creating seasonal continuity. For example, I had a signature course since 2021, which was Business Activation Academy, now the Coven. And I launched BAA over and over and over for the better part of 3 years, almost every other month or every season. And I'm going to teach you how to create seasonal evergreen. I mean, that offer created over $400,000 of revenue in my business. So I want to teach you how to create monthly recurring revenue through your launches. So it's not just launches here, launches there, no rhyme or rhythm. I want you to be very intentional going into your launches. And I want this course to be a course that you come back to over and over as your product suite grows, as you create new offers, and as you create launches for the same offer over and over again. All right. So make sure you are on the waitlist for Rogue Launch. If the waitlist time has passed, you want to make sure to be a part of my new masterclass and Telegram group that I am going to be launching and teaching, that is going to take place the week of September 9th. And it's going to lead into Cart Open for Rogue Launch. So you can be a part of this incredible course that's going to help you create 5-figure launches with ease, aligned to your energy, your vision, your offer, that really takes you from the very beginning to the very end of planning a customized launch that is aligned and tailored to you. And I cannot wait. There's going to be 6 live modules, 3 live Q&As, a private Telegram chat support, and you'll get access to this offer, this course, to continue watching it over and over again. So I'd love to see you inside Rogue Launch. If you have any questions, DM me on Instagram at tiffanychung.co. That's Tiffany, CHEUNG.co. If you have any questions at all, and I can't wait to see you on the inside. Let's create those 5-figure launches.